What's going on, guys? Car Review Guys here. This week we have the 2023 Mazda CX-30 Turbo Premium Plus. This is going to be the full review. We're going to start with the exterior, then we're going to work our way to the interior, and then we're going to take it on a drive. But the first thing we do, we got to start with the cinematic. Let's roll it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that cinematic. Taking a quick look at the exterior, let's start off with how many trim models there are. And coming up on the screen for you, there are 7 trim models available, and the price ranges from $22,950 all the way down to $35,400, which is what you can see here in front of us. The highest trim level, the Turbo Premium Plus. Underneath the hood is a 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder turbo, and depending on the fuel you use, regular fuel, you're at 227 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, and with premium, you are looking at 250 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque, and the curb weight is coming in at 3,525 pounds. This is making the 0-60 range anywhere from 6.1 to 7 seconds. Taking a look at the side profile, your overall length comes in at 173 inches, which is 14.4 feet. Your overall height, you are at 62.2 inches or 5.1 feet. And your ground clearance is 8 inches. You can see the LED headlamps there. They are nice and bright at night. You have a gloss black, kind of a mesh looking grille. Looks pretty good. Coming around, I will say you have the little thin lights LED as well right there. And you're going to notice gloss black wheels and gloss mirror caps. And then in between your pillars, you have gloss black as well. You're going to notice a sunroof up there. You have keyless entry on the front doors only, and you have a driver's side fuel door. Your gas tank is 12.7 gallons. Fuel economy, you're looking at 22 city, 30 highway, and a combined average of 25 mpgs. So assuming you do all highway, your max fuel range is looking at 381 miles on 1 tank of fuel. Working our way around to the back, the only thing that I could honestly knock or improve on the rear would be this windshield wiper. I think it always looks cleaner whenever they hide it up there, but is it a big deal? No, not really. In order to pop the rear hatch, there is a button underneath here. You just simply press it. It feels like a big pad. I'll try to show you in just a second. There you go. And back here, you will notice it's a little bit small. It's a little bit tight, but nonetheless, there is storage here. And in order to drop the seats, you can simply just press these buttons on the corners and the seats will fold down. In order to close the rear hatch, you just simply press this button here and down it's gonna come. Nice to have a power rear gate for sure. Let's take a step into the rear seat. I am 5'9" before I get in. Again, 8 inches of ground clearance. So let's see if it's easy or not. Test every single vehicle. It is pretty tight for sure. It's not a big space to get into. Yep, it's a little tight. This one's a little tight, not gonna lie to you. All right, okay, we're in here. We're in here. 5'9". Headroom has a nice little cutout up here. I don't know if you can see kind of the angle. It's probably hard to tell because of the shadows. Nonetheless, it does go up at an angle, so it gives you some more headroom. So there's like, I don't know, 2.5 inches maybe, somewhere in there. And then my seat is right where I drive, and I've got about, I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe between there. So it's on the tighter side, but it's, again, compact SUV slash crossover. So it's not bad though. It's not too bad. Like I could be comfortable back here for quite a while because I like to slouch, lazy, terrible posture, don't know what to tell you. You know, kind of like this. Not bad, not bad. So looking over at our door panel and any materials. So this is leather, which is good to touch, or pleather, whatever. It's nice and soft. Also soft all the way up and down through there. This is hard plastic. Probably hear it. And then same thing, this is hard plastic up here. So those two items could be improved, but this is all soft touch, which is nice, and more than you get a lot of times in the rear on a more entry level vehicle, even though this is the top trim. With the lighting, you can see the contrast there, the two-tone interior even on the rear. Looking at the passenger, you do have a little kangaroo pocket right there, as I call it, and then nothing on the driver's side, and you do have 2 rear vents. The one thing that's missing back here is I don't see any charging ports, which seems to be very popular in today's vehicles, so that could be improved. In the middle, you do have 2 cup holders and an armrest. All right, stepping into the front, much easier than the rear. I'm not gonna lie, that was very easy. The only thing you have to do is you have to duck a little bit more in this vehicle just because it's so low profile from the overall height. You gotta duck a little bit, otherwise you'll be smacking your head right up here, because I won't lie, I've done it once already, but now I've kind of learned, and you duck just a little bit more and hey, you're good to go. Now that we are in here, let's take a look at the interior. As you're gonna notice right there, Bose, and one of the best sound systems ever, not just this vehicle, Mazda in general. Over here, you've got several different buttons, including your 360 camera. We'll press it there so you can see the quality. Pretty clear picture, very happy with that. It is a little on the smaller side on the right-hand side over there. Nonetheless, great to have, and again, good picture quality. Further down below, you're gonna notice there are memory seats, 2 settings, and your rear hatch button. You have power adjustable mirrors, but not power folding. So that is one thing that is missing. And then the switches for the windows, they all look and feel so premium. There's no wiggle in them at all. And you have these little chrome bezels, look and feel great. As far as touching goes, this is like a leather pleather, but it is really hard. They don't have any cushion behind that, I can tell you that much. It's almost like leather pleather just over plastic. That's probably what they did, to be quite frank. But again, it looks really good and feels better than just normal plastic, so good little touch. Up here, there is just a slight amount of give, but it's fairly hard. Soft, 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 pleather leather, soft, 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 pleather leather. So that's good. And then all the way up, here it continues soft touch, and you notice we do have a heads-up display out there. That's great, love heads-up display. Looking at the instrument cluster, it is digital in the middle section and analog on the left and the right. That could be improved to fully digital for sure. Looking at the steering wheel, again, feels premium. There's not a lot of wiggle on these. They stay pretty tight unless you want them to move. And just having the black with like the chrome, it just looks and feels good. All of your media items, and over on the right is all of your cruise control, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist items. Windshield wipers, pretty standard, and all of your headlight on the left stalk. Coming over to the middle, you're going to notice dual zone climate with heated seats and a heated steering wheel. You are not going to be getting, I should say, ventilated seats, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I wish that was optional, at least on this top trim level. Moving on down, you have a little flat spot there, but no wireless phone charger there, which I think would have been a pretty good spot. And then 2 cup holders. You have a leather pleather shifter, feels nice and premium. And then continuing on down, you do have your toggle for all of your media functions up there. I do wish this was a touchscreen in park. I know someone's gonna comment and type, hey, if you use the Android Apple CarPlay, you can use a touchscreen. But you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to just do the normal stuff in park, so that way it's not distracting, because that is a safety thing for Mazda. They don't want a touchscreen because they feel it is dangerous. Understand it, but while in park, that should be allowed. Nonetheless, everything else is very Mazda. So if you're familiar with Mazda, it has not changed. It is the same. You have literally one mode, and it goes to sport, and you're going to see it in the bottom. It just lights up sport, and that is it. On and off. Coming back down, it is a very strange design. So you have to hit this little button under here, pull it up, and then you have to slide it back, and then it comes up. So it is a strange design. Now there's one option that this vehicle does not have that you can get, and that's a wireless phone charger, and it is located right in here. So of course not the most convenient place, but nonetheless, it is optional and you can get it. Working our way up top, you're gonna notice a frameless mirror with home link underneath, 3 different options. And up here, you've got a sunglasses holder. And moving our way back, we have a sunroof. I think that's pretty much everything in the interior. Let's take it out on the road. Let's roll. So for those of you that are not new to my videos, I generally start off pretty much just discussing the power and the 0 to 60 on the drive. So we're coming up to a stop sign here. Let's throw it in sport mode. Again, 0 to 60 changes a lot based on the fuel you have, but let's do just a little bit of torque and let's go. Here we go. I mean, it's good. 40, 50, 60. So your range, depending, and the reason I say that is based on your fuel type. So if you use 91 versus 93, we've already talked about it, there is almost a 25 horsepower difference, and that's going to reflect your 0 to 60. So there's 0 to 60s all over the place, anywhere from 6.1 all the way up to 7 seconds, and I'm sure that's mainly because what type of fuel did or didn't they use. I think it's certainly enough power. This thing feels pretty peppy. It doesn't feel real slow. And I do love the 6-speed transmission. Having the 6-speed transmission, I know it's kind of old school. Maybe I am old school, save the manuals, which obviously is automatic, but I'm just saying that I like the old feel. I just do. And it's still fast. It's not a slow shifting. I can feel it in between shifts, but it's pretty quick. And it's certainly good for what you need in this. As far as the visibility goes, checking over to our left, the pillar is further back. So it's a little bit wider, but because it's like further back, like, I don't know, it's in a good spot. You can see pretty good. Checking over to our right, you're gonna notice like the overall height of this thing is like shorter and it's kind of like compact type deal. So the window feels narrower, but you can still see quite well. Speaking of the comfort piece, like bumps and all of that stuff, it does pretty well. Up here, there is a cattle guard that we have to go over. It's a decently sized bump. You will hear it. There's no vehicle I've ever driven that you don't hear it. But let's go over that and see what this thing feels like. Someone pulling out right in front of me. What are you doing? And here we go. That's great. I mean, most of the time, I'm kind of like, maybe not quite that much, but a decent amount of movement, and that was not bad. As far as the suspension goes, if I'm banking left and I'm banking right, doing some hard ones, there's not that much body roll. There is a little bit, but it's pretty controllable and certainly what I would expect in this size of crossover SUV, small SUV. Back onto the comfort piece from a seat perspective, I really like the seats. I think they're really comfortable. They have just little bolsters, and just the little bolsters are just enough that when you're doing some, even normal turns, it keeps you in the seat. Like, you don't feel like you're kind of like sliding at all. And they're just soft enough. Like, they're not overly plush, if that makes sense. So they do a really good job with the seats. They're certainly adjustable as well. So whatever you need to do with that, you can adjust it the way you like it. So great job on the seats from Mazda. Having the different features as you're driving along is also good. You have the lane keep assist. I do wish it had like genuine all the time like lane centering. I don't think Mazda necessarily believes in that, or maybe they just don't want to do it yet. I don't know for sure. Just reading different statements, they feel that their vehicle should be more engaging. I do agree, they are engaging. So they are hitting what they want to hit. But it is nice to have those features. Adaptive cruise control does work pretty well. Happy with that. And from an everyday use perspective, having the memory seating is also very big. Without that, it is super annoying when you have two different people trying to adjust all of your stuff. Having that adjusted every time, so nice. Overall, like, Mazda does a good job at just making an interior feel so much more premium than what it probably really is. I mean, obviously, right? Like, this is not meant to compete and be on the price level of a Mercedes-Benz or a Lexus. It's just not. However, the interior, I would argue, feels almost there. The only thing that leaves it just a little bit short is probably the soundproofing. It's still pretty quiet, so don't take that as like, oh, well, go drive one. But you can hear a little bit, like, not necessarily wind noise. I think they do a pretty good job with that, but like right now it's a pretty noisy road, and you can hear the tires. You can hear it. And like when you jump in those next level vehicles, you can't really hear it. And that's really the only difference. But as far as like feel to the interior, the touch, the buttons and everything, they do such an amazing job at really trying to get up there with those guys, and at a completely different price point. I mean, this thing, again, coming in at around that $35,000 mark. Last test. We're going left. We're basically going to almost floor it, like in the situation like you have to go. There's no one coming though. And so let's just test how the all-wheel drive system does. To the floor. Wow, great job, Mazda. Great job. That was really good. Just a hair of wheel spin. That was all the way to the floor. Not much though, not much. I mean, it pretty much just went. That was awesome. Great job. So yeah, in summary, this thing overall, I'm very pleased with it. I really am. Always a fan of Mazda just because of their interiors. Exterior, all based on opinion. I do wish that the big plastic would, you know, be optional paint to match. Is it a big deal? Probably not. It just bothers me personally. But the interiors, man, Mazda does an amazing job, and they have for a long time. So if you're looking for a small SUV slash crossover, definitely something to consider if you want a nice premium feel on the interior. It drives good. You have what I call an old school transmission, so you don't have to convert over to the eCVT just yet, or CVT. Great to have options, right? So Mazda's leaving that alive, which is amazing. And their vehicle does feel engaging to drive. I definitely give them that. It is something that the turbo, just the feel of it, like it just builds up, and you can have a lot of fun with this vehicle. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please smash the like button. It really does help in the algorithm. And we are chasing 20,000 subscribers. We are almost at 18,000, like just under 100 short of it. I appreciate every one of you that watch these. It means a lot to me, obviously. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.